Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Fischer. I taught at Clark for about 3 decades, and you are doing such a wonderful job. Congratulations to all of the readers, all of the writers, all of the artists, and to Steve and Eric for really pulling together a wonderful piece. I'm not going to tell you what page my work is on because I consider a reading a little bit separate from the printed word. So of course, like any writer, like all of you, I have gone back and excerpted and revised a little bit so you won't be able to follow it anyway. The overall arching essay is called Welcome to My Nightmare, and it's really made up of 5 vignettes. And so I'm just going to read you parts of 2 of them because I'm sticking to my 5-minute limit. Part 1, Dream On. Rocker Doro Pesh claims, I'm not ready to face the light. I had too much to dream last night. Oh, Dodes, how I wish it were so. I am one of only a handful of people who does not remember her dreams. At least that's how it seems given the vibrant retelling of dreams by my husband, family, friends, former students who have snooze-a-thon adventures. If a dream is a wish your heart makes, then I am wishless in Dubuque. When our children were younger, one or the other would jump into our bed in the middle of the night with fantastic tales of goat-faced giants and orangutans who spoke in Klingon. Each dream detail, down to the green tongues and orangutan extra thumbs, was recalled in splendid horror by these children. Oh, how I envied them. One of my few recurring dreams happened while I was in college right here at Clark. In it, I show up for English class in the wrong classroom. In that vision, I am reading Emily Dickinson poetry when the teacher begins class saying, "Open your textbooks to differentiated equations." I awake from this one terrified. What would be so horrible about being in the wrong class, especially math, when I was a math minor? But dreams are often insensible, and that one proves it. I gutted it out anyway and went into the teaching profession. A few years ago here at Clark, I showed up for the first day of school. I was going to teach literature class. A few minutes in, a student in the back of the room raised his hand. Yes, I called on him. No offense, he said, but this is calculus. I haven't had that dream ever since. Sci-fi author Philip K. Dick asks, do androids dream of electronic sheep? In his novel, dreams are electronically implanted in robots to make them believe that they possess human experience and thus can dream. Since I don't dream, however, at least I don't have to worry that I'm an android. Okay, part 2, altered reality. Who cares about witches, a yellow brick road, and a scruffy dog named Toto? For me, it was all about those flying monkeys. Now, they were something. Thus began my early fascination in sci-fi. Forget aliens. Give me a metallic cyborg any day. We're talking Data, C-3PO, R2-D2, and best of all, Rosie, the robot maid from the cartoon Jetsons. My predilection gained legitimacy a few years ago when I taught science fiction at Clark. The class filled with computer science, math, and engineering students, rather than your typical English majors. We were off to geekdom, discussing bitmaps, Dyson spheres, cryptology, and vectors. We viewed Blade Runner, one of the best sci-fi movies ever made. Our hero, Deckard, is hired to terminate rebellious replicants, human robots. Their crime? They return to Earth to avoid extinction in the off-world colonies, where they are enslaved in dirty, dangerous jobs humans refuse to tackle. We human viewers squirm in our seats over the bigotry toward our robotic sisters and brothers. We also read Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash, which features rat things, surgically augmented cybernetic pit bull terriers, and other cool robotics. In the novel, people's online avatars lead more fascinating lives than they do in real life. Thus, people spend increasingly more time in online metaverse social media sites and less time in reality. Sound familiar? Recently, I watched Deep Impact and the Ray Bradbury-based film A Sound of Thunder, back-to-back one night. I was in positronic paradise. Morgan Freeman, as President Tom Beck in Deep Impact, is burdened with saving all of humanity from a comet headed for Earth. While movie critics may scorn the idea of astronauts traipsing across a comet to install nuclear bombs, cultural critics in 1998 probably found it far more incredible that an African American would be president. Thus, one era's fiction is often the next generation's fact. Nowhere is this truer than in science fiction. In Sound of Thunder, time travelers on a crustaceous dinosaur hunting safari mistakenly kill a butterfly. This sets off an evolutionary chain reaction, causing ferociously repulsive animals to bite off people's heads and seriously threaten our hero, who is, of course, a scientist. It makes me wonder, when I slapped that mosquito last summer, did I cause the congressional budget debate and shut down the government? Warning, warning, spoiler alert approaching. Finally, our nerd hero travels back in time, saves the butterfly, and all is back to normal. We're supposed to feel relieved, but I have to ask, are things really better off with the reestablishment of order in such stories? They're all going to hell in a handbasket eventually anyway, given their greedy ways. Why prolong the agony? But time travel has captivated readers since long before Ebenezer Scrooge visited his childhood in the boarding house years. Haven't we all fantasized about, if I could just go back in time and do it over? It seems the lure is to have a replay. Famed author of Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin, once taught at Clark. In fact, he was the last faculty member to teach science fiction here prior to me. I shared an office with Martin. True, he left Clark in 1979, and I didn't become a professor here until many years later. But it doesn't matter. With altered reality, it's just a matter of time. Thank you.